Okay, all right, sit. No, don't even you sit. It is another carbon copy of yesterday, last week, last month. This is December 11th. You'd never know it. Very quiet. Ongoing, quiet. And I think all of the citizenry of northern Minnesota are becoming a little bit hostile toward the weather man. I think they are prompting the weatherman to get jittery about the cause and effect of his or her lack of action on our part as we approach Christmas. Unwhite. I noticed this morning on AccuWeather app on my phone a winter alert, and it's calling for a possibility of snow on Sunday. This is Friday. And that possibility comes down to all the way from a coating or nothing up to an inch. That's not much of a big deal, but it's a really big deal if we're talking about having white snow on the ground, especially as we get closer to Christmas. And there's a lot of people that would complain, grumble, and gripe about the nuisance of snow. Those people who live here, who are Minnesota robust. I'll let you know. Going to check the mail. We have both been, Suki and I have been, well, she's been doing nothing. She's lazy as usual, just lazing around on the love seat while I've been working. She's headed for her beloved power line prairie. You can tell I don't have much to talk about either. I've gotten everything I had to talk about out of the way. Okay, all right, sit. No, don't even you sit. I'm getting my jacket and hat, outdoor stuff back on. She came running in here and she heard those noises and bowed. Sit. Hey. I looked at her. No, stop. I looked at her and I said, what do you want? And she started in because we got cut short being outside because of the damn iPhone. Go back. Okay. Walking along, just crossed onto our property from Dennis's property, and I don't know when the iPhone shut off. I mean, it didn't go to sleep, it turned off. before I came out here, I at least have the presence of mind now to be concerned about the battery level in the iPhone. Oh, and the GoPro, which I'm using now. So I checked the battery level in the iPhone, 89%. Oh, okay, good. We didn't walk very far compared to what I think we should have been able to walk. Where is the path? Where is the trail? And it's very disconcerting when you've been walking and talking along and you look at the back of the phone and it's blank, dark, dismal, dreary, grismal. Grismal, by the way, is a combination of grim and dismal. You can use that if you want to. So I kept trying to turn it back on, wake it back up. No, it wouldn't. We're going this way, Suki. I don't know what we're doing. I don't care. She just says move. I don't know when it cut off and what it did not record or what I was important life momentous topics I was talking about. I don't want to go this way either. So, God, what an empty feeling. You know, you're without your tools. You got back in the house. It wouldn't turn back on. Plugged it in to charge it, and yeah, the battery level was tiny red line at the bottom of the battery icon. So I'm guessing a lot of the problem has to do with the cold helping to drain the battery. When I was using it in the summer before I got the GoPro, I was regularly running the iPhone off the backup battery brick. I think I remember now that I had gotten to the point of becoming weary that it would use up the battery so quickly. So what was I talking about? I was talking about the very unusual circumstance we have this year of ice forming on lakes and ponds without the snow on top of it. And how that's usually a very major drag for cross-country skiers and snowmobilers because, last winter was a really rough year for it because we got the lakes just barely froze and then we began getting snow, heavy and wet on top of it, and that pushes down on the ice and water comes up from around the shore and makes slush under the snow. And if you're on skis or a snowmobile and you get into that, look out because it'll bog you down and stop you. Even though it's wet and slushy, once you go through there and you pack it down a little bit and you stop, it'll freeze up and your snowmobile will be there the rest of the winter. I'm somewhat exaggerating, but not entirely. So this year has been really fun because of the clear ice. Chuck took a photo through the ice. It was 8 to 10 feet deep, he said. And you can see the leaves, the logs, the whatever's on the bottom, just clear as day. I remember at times of my life when it was like that, way back when I was in my early 20s. Dad and Chuck drove the car out on the ice. And then I walked out there and, oh man, it's like you're walking. It's 10 feet above the earth. It was very weird, like vertigo is going on. Your mind can't quite comprehend it. There's dogs barking over there. I don't know how many dogs they've got. I thought it was just one or maybe two. But That sounds like a berserkery over there. Glad they don't do that every day, all day long. And I began to wonder, are there coyotes mixed in that? Maybe there was. All right. Here we are again. Doing the same. It's an odd conundrum that I'm working on. Life on the Bog, episode 53, which takes place the end of October. That was a month and a half ago. But I'm talking to you in real time about matters that happened a month and a half ago. So it doesn't seem reasonable that I would tell you about what I'm doing with it, that I'm excited about, because you will have seen it by the time you hear this. I'll tell you anyway. I was working on shoveling out around the wood cutting area and the wood sheds, the 3 or 4 inches of snow that we had, wanting to get it out of there before it freezes in permanently for the rest of the winter. And I laid the shovel down, and when I came walking back up to it, I remembered how I had given it to Suki 10 years ago, almost exactly from now. And that's when she was just barely a year old. And she grabbed a hold of that handle, and she pranced and danced and ran, carrying that shovel in her jaws from the handle. She knew how to balance it, I guess, get the handle halfway from one end to the other. And I had photographed that event. I'm listening to the dogs again. What? Oh, yeah. Well, here's a little rant for you. Not that I ever do that. Sometimes it's more of a tirade. I came across a recipe for chocolate snickerdoodles. I went looking for it. I didn't go looking for it until after I had thought, Jesus, maybe there's a recipe for that. I was going to just make it up myself from a snickerdoodle recipe. I went online, bingo, there are several. I didn't count them. There might be a couple hundred there. But I printed one off that, uses cocoa powder. Yes, I'm happy to be with you. Yes, I'm happy to be with you. I'm going to sit here. You can look at me longingly. So this recipe called for half a cup of cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 cup of sugar, half cup of brown sugar, called for 1 cup of butter. That seemed like an awful lot, and the recipe that I have made for years and I've talked about is chocolate crunchies. It calls for half Crisco and half butter, also 1 cup in total, and I've always made it with good success. It seems to melt down. You roll them into balls and just let the heat do its thing. So I thought I'm going to do this the same with the chocolate snickerdoodles. Half cup Crisco, half butter, and it'll be exactly the same. Well, no, it wasn't. You roll them into balls, you set them on the cookie sheet, and they came out just a little bit all around it. They didn't melt down at all. Okay, well, I cooked them an extra 2 minutes. Supposed to be 11 minutes, but I went 13 minutes, hoping they would melt down. No, they really did not. They ate just fine, but sort of empty, not much flavor. Certainly not much chocolate flavor. All right, so I came up with the idea. I've been using a silicone mat on the cookie sheet. I wondered if that was preventing them from moving out, melting out. So I added 2 tablespoons more cocoa and 2 tablespoons more sugar. Made them on parchment, hoping that they would get larger as they melted down. Made it with all butter, not Crisco. And I got a bottom of a coffee cup and flattened them superb, absolutely fabulous. Rich, good chocolate flavor, not bitter at all because I increased the sugar. And I flattened them because I didn't think that they were going to flatten on their own. And wonderful. But what my rant is, don't cooks try these cookies or anything that they make? They highly recommend. Don't they try them? Don't they take a bite and chew it and then have another bite and say, oh, these are empty. There's nothing, there's no chocolate flavor here. They assured me if you use butter, you got to use all butter or they won't flatten out. They'll stay rounded. Liars. So I'm going to put my own name on that and upload it to Martha Stewart's website. And she'll probably award me a big award, a fragile award. I'm going to bring you all along with me when next time I make them because I want you to be able to have these also. I think they're a wonderful cookie. And flattening them a bit opens the edges, opens little nooks around, which helps the heat get in there and make them even more. They're supposed to have the stereotypical snickerdoodle cracks in the top. Well, a few of them did. There were a few minor ones, but no, there again, that wasn't happening the way they were supposed to. But I don't care because I've got a far superior cookie here now, and I'm going to trademark it and patent it. Come up with a logo, snickerdoozies. I brought the buckets out here because I got to get firewood in them. And I would have forgotten them, even leaving them out here where I have to fall over them to get in the house. I would have fallen over them and kept going because I didn't know who the hell put these buckets in my way and why. Ha ha ha. Oh, I wanted to mention, I have found a fantastic TV show that you may already know about, may already have watched it. The Queen's Gambit. Oh, I've been seeing that it's very highly rated. It's a big deal right now, and I can see why. It takes place, best I can tell, early 60s in Kentucky. I don't need to tell you much about it other than it deals with chess. No, it's not eyes closed, glazed over. It's fantastic. And the first early on in the movie, it's about a girl who is a chess master. That's how her mind works. It's like an incredibly unusual mind and capable of memorizing and learning chess. And the first little bit of the movie was with this girl at 9 years old. And I thought that was just going to be a few minutes and then we'd move on to her later life. No, a good portion of the first or second episode is about her as this young girl and how she came to be an orphan and the home that she was living in. And now we're on to her as a 15-year-old. Absolutely magnificently done and written and performed. Both these young ladies, the young one and then the teenager, are beautifully acted. I mean, where do they find these people? I mean, a 9-year-old in real life, how much acting experience has she had? And she's got a very unique face, not somebody that you would confuse with somebody else. At any rate, give it a look. It's on Netflix, of course, although Amazon has done some wonderfully creative and original movies also. Is that where Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was done by Amazon? And that almost, for me, is like the ultimate in creative, original movie making. Yeah. Boy, God damn it. Jesus Christ. Pardon my French. I was going to show you the mouse tracks. Now you see dog tracks. So they go right under there and make a home under the leaves. Yeah, then we got a dog comes along and go back. I'm not sure what makes these trails, but that I think is mouse or vole or mole. Your home wrecker. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. See you next time.